But all right, moving on then. Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the STG Weekly, episode 112. That was an awesome, epic Gradius III remake intro video by Rickonami from YouTube. We did not, on the STG Weekly staff, make that ourselves. We did not get Softring to make that for us or anything like that. Although maybe he could. He did make our logos after all, so. But yeah, welcome everyone, and in this episode I'm joined by Super Viper T302, so welcome as well.
I'm back, guys. Are you happy yet?
He's back.
Yeah, I've been here before. We all remember, don't we?
And that was for the Proteus differences.
Port comparison.
The Proteus port comparisons video, and now you're returning with to show us your 2-loop clear, high-scoring run of Gradius III SNES with no bonus stages as well.
Yeah, I'll go into detail on that later on. Basically, the reasoning behind this game being for the episode, I either wanted to do this or Gradius Galaxies. I made a straw poll. One person voted saying they wanted this game, so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and say this game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We'll probably have, like I was telling you, like it'd be nice to have a Gradius Galaxies episode too, because that game is cool.
Hardly anyone knows about that game, really.
I've played it, like it was fun and all. I wasn't captivated like the other Gradius games though.
I also have a Gradius Rebirth one that I could suggest, but it's in really bad quality.
Gradius what?
Rebirth.
Oh, Rebirth. Nice. Yeah, that would be sweet too. One? Yeah, of course. That game's awesome.
So, do you just want to go ahead and get started because we've got quite a bit of time to kill?
Yeah, indeed. So we're gonna jump right into the 3-play. We are taking a look at the SNES game. Just to clarify, once again, not arcade, but
the inferior game.
But we are going to be talking probably a little bit about the arcade as we go along here. But yeah,
I stand by my.
Go ahead.
I stand by my opinion that the arcade version is the better game.
Wow.
I don't care what people say.
Wow. Well, you'll have to defend that statement as we go through the episode.
Oh, don't worry. I'm saying it's a better game. I'm not saying it's a perfect game.
Well, of course it isn't perfect.
What game is?
It's far from perfect.
Yes. All right.
Okay. So yeah.
At the beginning of the video.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Gradius 3 itself too as we get into the video. But we want to get it started pretty quickly here because it's a long one.
Yeah, it's not going to be as long as the last time I was on this show. Don't worry. We're only looking at one video today.
Right. Okay. Well, hold on here. Nope, not that one. Okay, yeah, let's, I think we can get started here. I can do some editing in a minute here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a countdown, on go here. 3, 2, 1, go.
By the way, just so you know, I figured out a way to stop using Freemake because, I now use Windows like Movie Maker Reduce File. Did you not start the video time? Oh, I have stream delay.
Remember, you should be watching the video locally.
Okay.
Not on the stream.
I'm sad. Okay, so by the way, that is the best weapon config. Anybody who disagrees with me is wrong. So everybody knows that formation option in reduce is obviously the best way to go for this game.
Formation, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that is a power-up type that I believe was... I don't know if it was introduced in this game or in Nemesis 3 for MSX, because I know Nemesis 3 for MSX had those option types as well. But, so, kind of some background on this run. This is a high score run I did for Vizzed. That placed me in 3rd place, I believe. The 1st place person had 400,000 more points than I had. But
what's the site called? Vizzed?
Vizzed, Vizzed, and definitely check it out.
It's like a high score leaderboard
site. No, it's basically a website where you can emulate games of any kind. I used it for the Gradius style runs as well. Basically, almost every single Gradius video on my channel is from a Vizzed emulator.
Okay, and like the site has like leaderboards for the games?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty kind of cool, I guess.
And again, as I said in the first episode, there's a recording function built within the emulator, which is how I record this. So a bit of some speculation on this one. I'm playing on normal difficulty. If I were to have played on hard or arcade difficulty, I could have gotten a higher score within the first loop, but then the later loops would have been a lot harder for me to manage. So I just decided to stick with normal, because easy is a bit too easy. Anyway, we got the first stage here. For those who played the arcade version, you might also remember the Sand Lions. We don't have that here, which is a little sad. It gives the stage a little less variety.
Yeah, I like those Sand Lions in the arcade. I want to have one of those to put on my doorstep, like you know, like those gargoyles people put like by their houses. Like I want.
And I'm sure you've already figured out by now, yes, this game does lag quite a bit, and sprite flicker a lot.
So yeah, the website he said was Vizzed. I'll type it in there.
It's a V. It's a V. Hold on, let me...
I typed it. Well, you can get the link in there too, but yeah. And then yet another question, it's just a straight browser-based emulator?
You do, I believe you do have to download a plugin for the emulator to play certain games, which is what I did here.
And I guess they'd probably just provide that for you?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, here we have Goliath, who is a bit different than in the arcade version because you can actually go into the pincer area. In the arcade version, you can't do that because the space is a lot smaller. But as you can see here, I've got formation option to reduce. A bit of some other exposition behind the weapons. The missiles I'm using is Hawkwind, which basically, depending on which side of the screen you're on, the missiles will either shoot up or down. But other than that, they act basically like normal missiles. Yeah. And they go along the ground until they hit something. And here, I believe I'm going to be activating the twin laser. Yeah. The twin laser, arguably the best laser because it's rapid fire, kind of, and also has a very big hitbox. So here we go. The bubble stage. I'm sure everyone loved this stage when they first played the arcade version.
Well, like, that's the thing, like, most people have played the SNES version and didn't even realize that there was an arcade version for probably a long time.
I don't know how I figured out about either version, really. I guess I just kind of... I think I just basically looked up the series on Wikipedia or something.
Yeah. And, I mean, so, yeah, the SNES version, you know,
For those who don't know, people consider the arcade version the hardest game in the series, and I do have to say their points are very valid. The game... People hate Gradius III Arcade mainly for two reasons: checkpoints and hitboxes. Those are two reasons why that game kind of struggles.
Yeah.
In this game, things are a little better, and also they toned down the difficulty in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's right.
For example, like here, there'd be a lot more bubbles. One thing I noticed, though, is that if there's too many bubbles, some just disappear randomly, or some don't break, like, all the way apart. Like, sometimes a bubble that's supposed to split into 4 will only split into 2, and I'm guessing that's just the way the system is designed.
Right. Yeah, there's a variety of differences like that.
Hunter, who works in an interesting way in this game in that it appears in the same spots no matter what. And
is that so? So it's not like length of time you have all 4 options?
Yeah, it appears in the same spots regardless of whether or not regardless of when you activate your 4th option. And right here, there is a bonus stage in the bottom hole that you can go into, and when you go into it, it's kind of like, have you seen the bonus stages in like MSX Gradius and Gradius Rebirth, you know, those where there's like all the pink stuff you can shoot through and there's points capsules and lives capsules?
Yeah.
I purposely do not take any bonus stages throughout this entire run, and that is because, well, mainly for 2 reasons. One is it would give me kind of an unfair advantage to the people who probably didn't take them on the leaderboards, but also because you get way too many lives from them, and it takes a really long time to game over.
What if someone comes along and beats your score with the bonus stages, though? Is the shit real at that point?
Well, I'm 3rd place on the leaderboard, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you're not even first.
Yeah. I think first place was like, last time I checked, first place was like 1.5 million, but I'm not sure if they played on normal difficulty. All I know is that they got to loop 3 stages.
It just takes any score, any setting.
Okay. Yeah, and right here, you might notice that the options are spread out, and how you do that is you have to have all 4 options activated, and you have to highlight option on the power-up bar and hold the power-up button. And it also works with the rotation options.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought you could move it at any time, but it has to be over the option button, huh?
Yes.
Interesting. That's pretty good.
PS2 and PSP ports, which have extra edit mode after you complete a single loop, they actually give you the formation and rotation options as extra options you can select, and they behave in almost the same way, but you can make them go in or out just by holding the power button.
Yeah, that's what I assumed it would be normally, and that's how it is.
Here we have stage 3, which is typically the first roadblock for people who are trying to play the arcade version, because it's a really long stage.
Well, probably stage 1 is the roadblock in the arcade version.
I'm sure I don't think many people would find it that hard. I mean,
dude, nah, man, that stage 1 is brutal.
I guess I can see where you're coming from.
Anyway.
And you can probably tell by now why I choose the reduce and formation options, because it just gives you the biggest advantage. Reduce actually works differently between the arcade and SNES versions, because in the arcade version, it takes 2 activations to get to the smallest size, but it's a 1-hit death still. Whereas in this version, it only takes 1 activation and you can take 2 hits.
That's nice. 2 hits and then you go back to normal size?
2 hits, then you go back to normal size, then you die.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, reduce is pretty damn good. I don't know if it's as effective in the arcade because it is an edit. I believe.
Yeah, and everyone knows that Type B plus force field is the way to go in the arcade version.
I don't know. Never seriously tried reduce in the arcade version.
It's not that helpful, believe me.
But reduce is pretty nice in this one, though.
Especially.
Man.
And here we go into the underground section already.
Yeah, it's this stage just so much slowdown, and like whenever you fire, you get slowdown. So it's like I imagine.
Actually, with this type, for some reason, the twin laser has a tendency to lag the game right a lot. And if you notice that rock that fell down, there's a bonus stage where it used to be, but only if you killed every ground enemy in the level beforehand.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And now we have the dirt section. In the arcade version, these rocks are indestructible.
Yeah.
Actually, on arcade difficulty, these rocks are indestructible as well in this version.
Oh, nice.
But normally in the arcade version, this section is much, much, much later into it, because you have this huge maze section, and then you have the part where a bunch of jumper enemies come from behind.
Yeah. So, like, I want to talk a bit about what you're doing to maximize the score.
You're noticing that, obviously, you're noticing that right here, I'm going to be farming from the enemy hatches.
Yeah, that's one of the main ways to get more points.
Other than that, really, I just have to kill everything that I see.
Okay. Pretty straightforward.
Gradius games typically don't have, like, that many major farming strategies. Like, I've seen a couple other shmup games that have... Like, I saw an Ikaruga task a while ago, and that game has some insane farming strategies.
Sometimes it's like checkpoint milking or using your lives to milk a checkpoint.
Checkpoint milking isn't really a good thing to do in Gradius games. I mean, I guess maybe there's some instances where it's useful, I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, there definitely is. In various of the games. Okay. I think even like
the Iron Maidens.
Iron Maidens, nice.
I make the silly decision of destroying both the hatches. In this version, they're pretty easy. In the arcade version, they're pretty easy also, but they don't have the boss music playing.
But, so like, what happens when you get there when you're not powered up, though? That's usually pretty rough,
there's a
isn't
safe spot for this version. You can hide behind the rightmost volcano on the screen, and the Iron Maidens will just bounce over you. And hey, look, it's Big Core Mark III. Yes, I'm sure everyone loved this guy. Especially in the arcade version, you know?
Yeah, in the arcade one, like, I guess those laser pockets the laser pockets are like much smaller, it seemed, maybe.
And also, again, we have to worry about hitboxes. Typically, you're either going to destroy him, and if you can't do that, you better know the laser patterns to time him out.
Yeah. But here, he just gets wrecked.
Yes. And
yeah, that boss is actually really tough on the arcade, I think.
There's an interesting stage after Stage 3 in the arcade version. Stage 4 is actually the 3D high-speed stage.
Yeah.
It's
pretty too bad they didn't do it for the SNES game. Like, where's that Mode 7 at,
man? They moved that to Stage 7, except they placed it in 2D. I'm not sure the SNES could have handled that. Hey, look, it's our friend, the Option Hunter.
I think they could have done some Mode 7 shenanigans.
For whatever reason, the Option Hunter is actually faster in that area, but he's not faster anywhere else.
Oh.
Okay, so the Moi heads in this version fire a lot less than they do in the arcade version, and obviously there's a lot less of them. And my strategy here is kill every single Moi head, or at least try to. Which is actually not that hard with this type. Hey, would you look at that? That Moi was so nice, he gave me an extra life for killing him. I always love making jokes like that, where it's like, hey, this thing gave... Would you look at that? He gave me an extra life.
And, you're getting points from those Cheerios, right?
Yeah, but I don't farm those.
Yeah.
It's not really useful to farm in this version. They're much more useful to farm in Gradius 2. In Gradius 3, yes, there are a lot, but they give 10 points each in that game, so it's not really worth it. And right here, you're noticing that there's a Moi lying down on his back, and right below him is another Moi. If this Moi that I'm about to kill gets up, and there's a bonus stage behind his back if you go in there, but you cannot have anything highlighted on the power meter when you go in there. And I think that bonus stage is actually the most score beneficial, but again, I chose not to type in. Oh, and here's the monolith Mois. So, funny story about this. So, I first discovered these Moi heads in Gradius Gaiden, and if you don't know that, how they behave in there, once you destroy all 4, the monolith doesn't disappear, and I thought the same applied to this game, so imagine my reaction when I saw this. Yeah, I'm just like, are you serious? I did figure it out, though.
This is a pretty tough, there's a checkpoint here that throws you right in before these guys. If you die, it's pretty rough. Because you gotta get up close to their pea shooter.
And then the bosses are almost impossible to beat in the arcade version if you die there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Dogus, there's a glitch you can abuse to get him to basically spin around infinitely, and he won't, like, fire anything, so you can time him out, but Bath is a lot harder. But thankfully, in this part, we just have Twin Bath, who's not very hard, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely a lot more manageable. This boss in the arcade was notoriously difficult.
You know what I find kind of funny? It seems that every odd number stage in the arcade version is the ones that people hate the most. Stages 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
It was a rush development, as the case with Gradius the Arcade, and the developers have even said in interviews that they felt like the SNES game was the better game because they were able to spend a bit more time with it and balance it out, and it really does have it all. Like
it's a good game. Don't get me wrong. I just for some reason find the arcade version more fun. I guess because I'm gonna kind of use the words of Seahawk. I'm a cold-blooded, sadistic bastard.
Well, I mean, it is the original, after all. And
yes,
it does have original arcade music.
I actually do think the arcade version has better music. Oh, yes, and here's the fire stage. So, Aquas, why don't you tell them about the fire stage in the arcade version?
Oh,
or do you want me to?
Well, the fireballs that he's actually destroying, when you break them apart, and they break apart again into the final three prong. You can't; those aren't actually destructible.
And there's like 5 million of them coming at you at once.
So you actually have to carefully choose which one to fire at, or just be a
or
badass.
Just flag the game.
And leg the game, like really hardcore.
Flagging the game is typically the best strategy. But as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm actually waiting until they're split into the smallest portions possible so I can get the biggest amount of them at once.
So, have you played this part in the arcade mode of this game?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, like, can you still destroy the fireballs?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And there's a kind of, if you look in the upper right little corner there, it's just going off screen right now. There's a bonus stage in there, and to access that one, the 100th digit of your score has to be a 3, a 5, or a 7.
Man.
And yeah, I don't have reduced right now, so I'm kind of like freaking out at this point. Especially because coming up is my least favorite boss in this game, and this is a part that this boss I actually have to say is easier in the arcade version. He's just so freaking unpredictable in this version. This guy was incredibly scary here.
Really? Okay.
And he refuses to die. And the sprite flicker makes it really hard to see the fireballs.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm just like, will you enclose me, you bitch? Seriously, just do it already, so I can feel safe.
I think I've even fought this guy one time, and the sprite flicker was so bad, I just couldn't even see the flame. It's good game.
Causes me to freak out. I played this game on the virtual console a few times, and it actually does a really nice job with emulating the slowdown and sprite flicker. As you can see here, yeah, I'm just freaking out. And the worst part about this boss is when you kill him in the SNES version, he'll explode into a ton of shrapnel. In the arcade version, those pieces can't hit you. In this version, they can.
Yeah. They're kind of mixing it up on you there.
So this port,
and if you're not in the center, like, that actually looked kind of annoying to dodge. I do have to agree that the arcade version is very satisfying to beat. Now we're on to the plant stage, which is kind of the freebie stage in the arcade version because it's so easy and you can just breeze right through it. It's not that much. It's not like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I actually find this version a little harder also, just because the arcade version is pretty much a freebie. And it also has the jamming music, you know? Yeah, I think also what was mentioned in some of the dev interviews is they were maybe considering, they weren't sure if they wanted to have the sand stage or this stage to be like the first stage. But
no, I think it was the fire stage that said they wanted to be. I don't know.
It was something like that, but it definitely feels like the difficulty of this stage definitely feels like it should be earlier on in the game.
Yes.
But it's actually just pretty straightforward and cool to look at, and the music's really good.
Huh?
Like, it's actually one of the cooler stages in my opinion, with the like the detailed vines and stuff, like vegetation.
Okay, so here are the coming up are the vines that come out of the ground, and here's another part that's, in my opinion, a bit better about the arcade version. In the SNES version, if you touch these, you die. In the arcade version, they drag you into the ground, but you can escape them pretty easily.
Yeah.
For the most part. And here, I mean, as you can see, I can just use the Hawk Winds to get rid of the enemies up there.
Yeah.
This one guy, I think his name is JCE, I don't know if it's 3000 or 9000 GT, made arrangements of some of the songs from a game, and the one for Cosmo Plant sounds really, really good. He made ones for Sandstorm, In the Wind, Fire Scramble, and Cosmo Plant. And
I'd like to have that link available, like in the YouTube description. Nice.
I'll get them to you after the episode. Here comes another really fun boss, Choking Weed. And I say that again with obvious sarcasm, because this guy is terrible.
It's just like you have to memorize some positioning, right? Or is there some randomness to it?
Well, I actually don't know which version I find easier. The arcade version is quicker to take out, and also the little arms at the bottom of him can actually be destroyed, so they can't fire at you for a short amount of time.
You can't destroy them here? I forgot.
No, you have to basically stay at the back of the screen and hold back the entire time, or else you will, and if you get anywhere close to him, you will die. And good luck timing him out if you have little power, because I can't do it. Whereas in the SNES version, it's pretty easy to take out with little power, but the problem is the bullet sprites are hidden behind him.
Yeah.
So they have sprite priority.
I don't know, like, it's kind of easy to get trapped by him too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can't he just, like, straight up, he can just, like, ram you?
In either version, it's very easy to get trapped.
Right.
So if you're noticing that I'm avoiding blue capsules, when you use a blue capsule, it destroys all enemies on screen, as you probably know. The only problem is I don't think it gives you points for doing that.
No,
so
you know. Yeah, you don't get a score.
It depends on the game, because in, like, Gradius 1 and 2 they do, and in Gradius Gaiden, but in, like, Gradius 3 SNES, Gradius 4, and Gradius 5 they don't do it.
Oh, okay.
It just depends on the game. So here we have the high speed stage, which is a stage exclusive to this port. So there's actually 2 instances of high speed in the arcade version. There's the 3D stage, which we talked about, but there's also the escape sequence after the final boss in the arcade version as well, which I actually find really easy.
Right. Yeah, this high speed stage is pretty good.
Has a bonus stage. There's going to be a really, really long downwards path coming up soon, and there's going to be a dead end, and there's a bonus stage in the dead end, but you have to go through the tiny gate midway through the level in order to access it. People used to think you have to take the path with the least upwards and downwards deviation, but someone found out that all you have to do is just go through the small gate. So here comes another fun boss, and I actually say this in a fun way. It's Beacon. Look at this guy, he's so hard. Look at this.
So this guy came back in Gradius 5. He was actually very difficult in that game.
Hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that boss is hard. That boss is hard if you're not powered up. Like, he's really difficult if you're not powered up.
I bet you can guess what time it is.
Boss rush time.
You are correct. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. So the arcade version, the boss rush is actually kind of part of the final stage. It's the section right before then. And some interesting things about it are that the 4 Gradius 2 bosses in here are actually reversed between the arcade and SNES versions. So in this version, it's Death Mark II, Crystal Core, Big Core Mark II, and Covered Core. In the arcade version, it's Covered Core, Big Core Mark II, Crystal Core, and Death Mark II. Each of the bosses also has a different song in the SNES port, and whereas in the arcade version, it's all Take Care. But also, the arcade version has Tetran, which I'm kind of sad isn't in this version, because I want to see how Poisonous Snake would sound with this game's sound bot. This port did a good job with the boss rush, in my opinion. Just a little sad that they just made it a separate stage.
Yeah, definitely.
The Eerie Crystal Core. For some reason, this is everyone's favorite song in this part.
Does sound kind of alien compared to everything else.
Mine is like a tie between the theme for the Zubrush and the theme for Cover Core.
Like for boss themes or overall?
Yeah, for the boss themes, yeah. My favorite song in this game is probably Lucky Zone, which is the extra stage theme, but guess what? You're not going to hear it. Hey, look, it's Big Core Mark II. This guy's more bark than bite, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really easy to dodge.
If you feel ballsy,
there's a strategy where you literally just hide it. If you just go as far to the top of the screen as you can, the lasers can't hit you. So what people usually do is they lure him to the top of the screen and then just sit there and kill him from there.
Oh.
That's what I usually do. Whereas in this version, you just have to move around. Now we have Covered Core. And this guy's a pussy in the arcade version. He's a wuss because he dies really quickly. And the hitboxes are weird because you can literally go into the section where the barriers are after they're all destroyed and the shield can't hit you.
Ah. Nice.
And if you have spread bombs, you can take them out in like 2 seconds.
Right.
Okay. So we're just about... Oh, this guy's hard to hit. You can only hit him in a specific time of the shields rotating. Alright, and here we have Delinger Core, the boss you can manipulate in the arcade version. Because Delinger Core in the arcade version, if he isn't lined up with you exactly, he'll ram you. In this port, he just rams you automatically. So people manipulate that to set Delinger Core up in the good spot. And right here is my favorite part of this entire video.
Oh, nice.
I just use the extended options to just kill him.
Nice,
so there you
kill
go.
There.
First time I ever played that stage, and that's also the first time I ever fought any of those bosses, I beat them all without dying. I don't know how I did it other than the fact that I've seen videos of them. It's not that hard, really.
Nope.
Hey, look, it's the double. So I guess I also should explain why I choose the vertical. The vertical goes straight up, which in some instances, like in this stage, is a bit more useful than the double.
Cool, yeah, I don't see the vertical used much.
Oh man, Mechanical Bass SNES. Song is amazing in this version.
Yeah.
Just listen. So happy. So awkward, I don't remember, but I said a while ago that I actually thought the arcade version of Gradius III, that base stage is my favorite, because in the arcade version, basically here's what happens. So you enter, after the boss rush is done, there's a crater you go into, and then here's basically the order of things. First the lights go off, then you have the tiles, then you have the mini cords that block your path, which is probably the worst part. And then the walls come out at you, and then you have the mini shadow dancers that are indestructible and block your path, and you have to hide in the little holes in the floor and ceiling. And then the front spin lasers that aren't affected by lag. Also, I took a bullet to the face
you skipped over the cube stage though.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the Christmas.
Well,
AKA everyone's
it's not here for a reason.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite stage in the arcade version, I'm sure.
There's no way in hell they could like pass that stage by for this version.
Yeah, there is. So for those who don't know, in the arcade version, the stage 9 is the crystal stage, which is like a Tetris-like stage at first, but then at the very end of the stage is the cube rush. The exactly 100 cubes come flying at you from the right side of the screen. You're basically in open space, no walls to hide behind. It is entirely random of the patterns that the cubes fly at you. And if you die at any point in that stage, you go all the way back to the beginning of the stage. Oh yeah, and there's Disrupt.
Yeah, and there's like 3 different sets of
oh, there's way more than that. There's probably like 8 or 9 or something.
Well, there's
there
just like
there can't be any more than 10.
Yeah, there's a shitload of predetermined patterns which you have to eventually maybe memorize, and then you can get a position.
The only way to
use.
survive really is to just build a wall in the lower left-hand corner of the screen and just pray that you get the right pattern. If that's not enough, afterwards you have to fight Lizard Core, who has absolutely no firing pattern whatsoever.
Yeah, it sucks. So they took it out of this game.
I'm always scared by this section because I hate these enemies because of how they have a bit of a random nature to them. And they do take quite a bit of punishment.
Yeah, it's a little tense.
But on the arcade version, they're indestructible, so once you destroy them and they get down to that, like, busted phase, you cannot go anywhere near them or you will die, so you have to plan it out. And now we're going to have the Crab Walker of the game.
Oh, I didn't know the PSP Gradius 3 had a practice for the cube rush.
Oh, both the PS2 and PSP do. I believe if you beat the Crystal stage in extra mode, there's kind of you can kind of say how many speed ups you have and adjust the speed of the cube, and it lets you just play the Crystal Rush.
That's cool.
And here we have the Crab Walkers of the game, which, unlike the arcade version, are destructible, and their and the hitboxes on the legs aren't broken.
Yeah, in the arcade you can just like go right through them. Wasn't that
yeah,
the
they
case?
tend to, on the very tips of the legs, they tend to not exist a good portion of the time.
Yeah. That's the rush development hitboxes right there.
Although it's useful. But for some reason, it's not in the PS2 or PSP version, so I guess they patched it. Best one, Shinos. It is Parodius, but without the woman, and they are destructible. I find it funny how they thought it was cool for you to shoot women in Parodius. Because that's a thing.
Well, you don't. Yeah, you can't blow her up or anything, so they kept. I mean.
Yeah.
You know, kept it okay.
Let's not forget the Tanuki in Sexy Parodius.
Like, what if you did shoot her, like, and then she blew up? Like, that'd be just kind of morbid.
Okay, so in the cell stage, there's kind of an farming strategy. These tentacles, I believe the tentacles they shoot out, they constantly come out until you destroy the golems. So you can basically just farm off the tentacles. They come out a lot more frequently on higher difficulties, as you're going to see on Loop 2. And this is the stage where I have infamously lost a run on arcade difficulty here. And Seahawk, did I say it already? That Seahawk lost a run on arcade difficulty here to dying to no, he didn't lose a run. He managed to beat this stage on his last life, and he no death damage on the stage.
Yeah, before we went live. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. Recoveries, they can happen. They can happen.
Here we have the regen walls, you know.
Nice animation on the generated walls destruction.
Yeah,
a lot of frames.
Favorite part of the self stage.
Yeah, you know, just kind of throwing a couple, one more gimmick at you.
For this stage to be the final stage in this port because, I mean, the Bacterian art basically sells when you think about it.
Yeah, sure. It makes sense
and we don't have
me.
to deal with, and we don't have to deal with the freaking meatballs. No. Right. Here we go. The final stretch. We're almost there.
Oh,
So much for no death run, am I right? And here we go.
That was too bad.
Yeah, for some reason the wall just wouldn't be shot down. So
yeah, sometimes if you're like destroying,
that's never happened to me before, and it happens here, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, weird stuff can happen when you're destroying too much of the generating wall. Like it'll start regenerating like in a weird way.
I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the SNES being a weak console. Sometimes it might also have to do with the lag.
I think it's just how the wall is programmed.
I don't believe so, because again, that's never happened to me before.
Yeah, but the way your lasers are attacking the wall is changing each attempt. So it may have gotten a weird rhythm on the wall and caused that to happen.
And we're going to be here a while.
No, this is a pre-recorded run.
Oh, yeah.
By Super Viper 2302, who's here.
Yeah, this is my run.
Oh yeah, you want to comment about like rank and dynamic difficulty?
I do not know how rank works in Discord. A while ago, Seahawk had a really big write-up on how rank worked in the arcade version, but it's unknown how rank really works in this version. I believe really all the main factors are obviously still power-ups and difficulty setting and how far you are, but other than that, I don't know like exact numbers.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any counter dynamics. I doubt it. Because I don't think... Konami doesn't tend to do counter dynamic stuff for their console ports of the Gradius games.
Yeah. Alright. Oh man, this is rough.
It is. I was like... I'm just like really worried here, I guess, because I have lost a run to this checkpoint before, and I was afraid that the same thing was going to happen.
Like, not again, no! Fuck, no!
Yeah.
No!
And I'm like, and especially because that was a that has never happened before moment there. And okay, right here, I enter a state of focus. Like, I'm just focused right now because it's just like, okay, I can do this.
You got the speed, you got the option, and you got all you need.
Yep.
Speed and option is really your friend.
Yeah. And this is why you never give up, kids. Oh yeah, I do think I heard about someone porting Gradius 2 to the Mega Drive. I think I saw a video of that once. I don't think any Gradius. Oh, there's been a Gradius Deluxe pack for the Sega Saturn. I was about to say didn't know if Gradius games were released on any Sega hardware.
No, yeah.
Here we have the big guy himself, Bacterian. And I got a little cocky there.
Wow.
Hey! I died to a final boss in a Gradius game.
Wow, look at this guy, dying to the final boss.
Well, it is the hardest boss in the game, you know. Like every Gradius game.
You really asked for it there.
Yes. Except if that were to have happened in the arcade version, I wouldn't have died. I would have gotten sent to a stage based on the first stage by the Gradius or Salamander.
Yeah, I always found that interesting. You have to die like close to the mouth for that to happen. Like, what's the deal with that?
If you just get hit by the balls, it takes you to the stage. Except,
really,
yeah, then you go through the stage. It's kind of basically based off the first stage by the Gradius or Salamander. The enemy layout is obviously different, and you have to find one of the bosses at the end. But the problem is the stages are really, really hard. And you do not get that much score potential for beating them, especially because you lose all of your power-ups when you enter the stage, and you get like no power-up opportunities.
So wait, it's like one stage, and then you do the final boss again, or is it a whole new loop?
It's the stage, and then after you beat the boss, you go back to the checkpoint.
What's the checkpoint? You mean the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not the beginning of the game, Not the beginning of the game.
No?
The checkpoint. Okay, I'm confusing myself. Okay. English is a hard language, guys. Alright. I don't know if I consider Good Luck more of a satisfying song or a sad song.
To me, it's like, you've earned your coffee, now drink it.
Yes.
That's the type of song this is, because I'm drinking coffee and I've earned it.
And if you thought that was fun, guess what we get to do? We get to do that again. God, I can't believe we're done with the first loop already. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah, keeping it rolling. Yeah, we'll go through another loop here and see what the second loop's got to offer.
Aquas, do you want to be spoiled for the second loop or no?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean? I mean, we're about to watch
Do you want to be
it.
spoiled how the second loop goes, or do you just want to see what happens?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I won't spoil it yet.
Alright. We can see. Usually it's like they
right
add a
off the
suicide
bat,
bullet.
this is probably the hardest part of a higher loop because you literally have nothing to work with. And any death past this first checkpoint, basically it's an automatic game over. So obviously I was kind of worried here because as you can see, in the upper left-hand corner, I have a solid 3 lives remaining.
Yeah, you lost a bunch of those.
Uh-huh. That was a fight not to get the game over.
So yeah, anyway, the main difference is occasional enemy will have the return bullets.
Oh yeah.
So that's a huge difference.
Faster.
And yeah, a lot faster. Like,
And after
that's pretty much it.
And okay, in the arcade version, after you beat a loop, you actually keep all of your power-ups from the final stage, unlike most Gradius games. But also the first stage is incredibly difficult on loop 2. You need to have full power going into it, or else you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because of how difficult the stage becomes. Like, there's added enemies, they fire a lot more, and there's barely any chances for power-ups.
Well, and they remix. Yeah. Well, and
Whereas here it's basically the exact same thing.
Okay. Well, and they remixed the stage design as well, but it doesn't seem to be the case. That does not seem to be the case here.
Yeah, they did it. They added like extra little sand things in the middle of the stage each time.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting that like they did that for a game that I don't know if they realized was going to be incredibly difficult to complete for people.
They probably did realize it. It's the sad part.
Like, this is your reward, an even harder remix stage.
Although, interestingly, after you beat Loop 2 and beyond, the credits don't roll, and as soon as you beat the escape sequence, it just goes straight to the next loop.
After the first one's completed?
After you get to the escape sequence on Loop 2, it goes straight to the start of Loop 3 without any cutscene, any credits.
Kind of cool.
And Goliath here is really, really scary because of how much crap there's going to be on screen at one time. You really got to keep an extra eye out here.
Well, like, yeah, I think the tough part here is the little guys that come from the top and bottom and having the return bullet.
They're pretty easy because typically there's not going to be a whole lot of suicide bullets on screen at once.
Yeah, but the point is like you can get a suicide bullet from the back or the side, and that can be really awkward.
That typically doesn't happen.
Oh, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like, you can get suicide bullets from behind, but it's not something, especially considering the slowdown, they're pretty easy to dodge.
That's what I would be afraid of.
And also, on the first loop, as you can see, I was able to chill and just immediately start with 1 speed. Up here, I have to start with 2. Now we're switching to the reduce, you know. First blue capsule of the run. Wait, actually it wasn't. I lied. I'm sure there's been several in the past. One other useful thing about like farming enemies and stuff is that the more score you get, the more lives you get, and so the better probability that you'll live for longer.
Yeah, you do get a lot of lives.
Okay, the bubble stage in Loop 2 and the arcade version is just no, don't try it. The bubbles are going at insanely fast speeds, and they will shoot suicide bullets. And when they break apart, they are incredibly, they're incredibly unpredictable, and it's very easy to die.
Talking about arcade or this
yeah,
game?
Arcade. In this version, they're easy because they don't fire suicide bullets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not really. And as I said earlier, the sprite management will sometimes just say, "Hey, you're trying to spawn? Too bad."
Yeah, still pretty manageable here.
Right, so as you can see, again, we're gonna deal with our friend Option Hunter. And they'll be coming a little bit, I think.
I think I've seen occasionally some really high loop gameplay from Gradius III Arcade, and I think they don't even destroy most of the bubbles at that point. And
it really
it's
just
just
depends on the player. I've seen some players not destroy them. I've seen players try to.
It's like it's super intense watching that though, like because the bubbles are moving around quickly because just since they are destroying them, there's no slowdown. So
I guess
like
I could go into some detail on the types of option hunters in Gradius III Arcade because there's 3 types that appear in a pattern, and they are again on a timer after you activate your options. But the thing is, the option hunter will appear at different times regardless of how many options you have, but the amount of options you have determines how long it is. I believe the less options you have, the longer it is. And it appears, I think it appears much more frequently in Loop 2, but I can't say for sure.
I feel like at this point I should have like retitled the episode like Gradius III Arcade to Super Nintendo comparisons.
Oh yeah,
because like we kind of have been focusing on that.
Okay, well, and we have a nice little tool to show them. Well, as I said, I kind of like to go into detail on things.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Definitely good because I'm not sure if we'll ever get to
Bubble
talking
Eye
about
is
Gradius 3 on its
I
own.
guess. Bubble Eye is a lot easier here because you just literally sit here. What else is there to talk about? I'm trying to think of other topics. Anybody in chat have any questions that I could answer? I know there's Twitch delay, so I might not get them right away. I'm trying to keep an eye on it.
Can't you time out that boss or something? Or
I believe you can time out any boss. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. There's some random fact I heard recently about timing out that boss.
Oh, I guess there's something else I could talk about that I'm reminded of. There's this one video that I'm also going to probably link to you afterwards, where take the difficulty of the game already and multiply it by 10,000, and that's the rank of the bosses in that video. Like, it takes the boss rush of Gradius 2, some instances of Gradius 3, SNES, and Arcade here, and it's just absolutely manic. Like,
well,
I don't know how...
What are you talking about?
There's this video on YouTube of, like... It's like... I like to call the video, what would it be like if the rank in Gradius just decided to give you a big fat middle finger?
So it's like, is it actual gameplay or?
It's gameplay, and it shows the bosses at an insanely high rank, like a rank you probably couldn't even humanly.
So it's like, it's like a hack or something.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh,
I don't know specifics. Like Tetrate and Gradius 2, the arms are rotating at like 6,000 miles per hour, and it becomes bullet hell.
Hey Extruder, he's asking since when you played this game. I think he's asking maybe when we first played it. I don't know.
I don't remember when I started playing this game. I actually can't recall specific dates for really any Gradius game. I don't even remember when I actually got into the series. I think it was like 2012-ish. Because I know I first played Gradius when I got a Konami Classic Series Arcade Hits for the DS. Because I was a huge Namco fan back in the day. I had a lot of Namco museums, but I decided I wanted to branch out to different game genres. And well, I guess different types of games. So I got Konami Classic Series Arcade Hits to see if I liked it, and I ended up kind of falling in love with Gradius, and I just became hooked.
Cool. I know. I do remember. I rented Gradius 3 on the Super Nintendo from the video store.
I have the game on the virtual console. Oh, I already said that. I have every Gradius game you can get on the Wii on my Wii.
Nice.
I have Gradius and the Life Force for NES, Gradius 2 for PC Engine, and Gradius Rebirth and this game. So I guess one kind of difference between difficulties in this game is that these rocks, I brought up something along the lines of this earlier, they take a lot more health to destroy based on which difficulty you're playing on. I don't know if the loop determines it though.
It kind of looks like they're taking more HP, if I had to guess, but I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not.
One thing I find kind of interesting about this game is how it uses stereo sound. I had a problem with that where my TV, like one of the speaker sides, like one of the speakers in stereo sound, it just wouldn't play, so I could always never hear like one side of the stereo sound. So I switched my Wii to mono. And it, for some reason, I don't think it even fixed the issues with this game for the most part. But it did make it sound a little worse. But now that my TV is better, I can use stereo now because it's fine now.
Alright, so you got a question in chat from Extruder there.
What do you like the most in this game that makes it different? This actually isn't my favorite Gradius game. If I had to pick a favorite Gradius game, I'd have to say Gaiden is my favorite. But what do I like about this game that makes it different? Well, I guess in the way that it's kind of balanced, and it's a really easy game to pick up on.
Yeah.
I mean...
It kind of has it all, you know?
I was able to beat it pretty easily on easy mode with Konami code abuse, and I just thought it was kind of a fun game. And I also like the music. The music is... Gradius soundtracks, it's basically what keeps me playing the game.
Oh yeah, I mean 3... Probably, arguably, the better Gradius soundtracks.
I like 3, I like 4, I like Gaiden, I like 5.
Like, they're all good, obviously.
Yeah. Best Gradius music for me is probably Salamander 2. Oh my god, Salamander 2 has some amazing songs.
That is true.
I think I told you this at some point, Aquas. I'm a writer, and I make story playlists for each of my stories that use a variety of video game music. Typically, over half the playlist is Gradius, Salamander, or Gradius music.
Nice.
And this game has a Lucky Zone, which I mentioned earlier. The bonus stage theme is actually the most popular Gradius III SNES song.
Most popular? What do you mean, like?
I tend to reuse songs a lot in my playlist. I have like 20 or something. And typically you find the same songs in them, just the most popular ones. And Lucky Zone is one of the ones that you see quite a bit.
So you're saying
it's hard to explain. If you want to, shameless self-plug here. If you want to see what I mean, you can check out my channel. There's quite a few of them. There's also soundtrack videos for the playlist, which is all songs in one video. Some have been made by me, but others have been made by YouTube user Ryo442266, so you should definitely check out.
Okay.
Yes, this game is very, very laggy.
Yeah, a lot of lag. Like, if you cut out all the lag, we'd probably be done with the episode.
Probably not. It'd probably be like 10 minutes.
We'd be
the
done!
The arcade version isn't much better in that regard either. Let's think about that. Like, on the PS2 and PSP ports, they have the weight level, you know? Like, where you can actually change how much slowdown there is.
Yeah, that is nice.
Weight level 2 is, in my opinion, the most accurate.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the default, I believe.
Yes. And then there's the people who are insane enough to do it on weight level 0.
There are some people.
I'm not one of them. I've done it one time on easiest difficulty.
Well, then if you play Gradius 4 on those ports, there's no weight option, so you have to deal with it.
There is actually on the PSP port.
Oh.
I typically have it set to 0, because otherwise the Moai and Cell stages become very, very laggy. And here's the problem, even on weight level 0, there's still a bit laggy.
Yeah, well, the PSP actually gets some of the slowdown right. I mean, because that PS2 port just didn't have it at all. And the arcade version
says
actually,
level 1.
well, the arcade Gradius 4 actually does have slowdown, so.
It has a lot of slowdown, let's not forget about that, but
Yeah.
Gradius Gaiden in particular, you basically have, if you want it to be as close to the PS1 as possible, the instruction manual says you should have it set at 1. You actually want it set at 0, because there are certain, like, animations and stuff of, like, boss encounters where it lags terribly. Okay, I've put off on doing this for a while, and I found the video of the insane rank. I'm gonna link in the chat right now.
Alright.
I have not seen the Gradius Perfect Selection albums. I typically like to stay away from Gradius arrangements because the original music is where it's at, you know?
Yeah, those are pretty good albums. I've heard those. They're like rock, kind of rock style covers. 80s rock though, and it's like kind of like big production. It's all right.
Gradius 3 had an album released for it, I believe. Well, not really an. It's like a soundtrack album, but it also had some original songs in there. Had a really good remix of In the Wind. Other stuff. Here we have Twin Bath again. I once saw someone beat this boss on loop 5 naked.
Like, without any clothes on?
No power-ups, except for I think maybe speed-ups.
The setup for that was perfect.
How many shot types in this game are more or less fun? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. What's so funny?
My joke.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I said, without any clothes on. Because you said, beat the boss naked. You missed my joke, man.
That's so funny, except... That's why I clarified it.
If you would have been there, you would have been there.
I was there, I just didn't hear, okay?
You should have been there.
One thing that I like to do sometimes is I let a bunch of enemies live for a while just so they can fire a lot of bullets and then I kill them. And then it becomes hard to tell whether or not they fire suicide bullets, because sometimes they fire a bullet literally as they die.
Okay.
Okay, so the fire stage on Loop 2 has a lot more fireballs, but they're all still destructible, so it's not too much of an issue. Viable for clears. Twin Laser's pretty good. Cyclone Laser is also pretty powerful. But Twin Laser has a bit more rapid fire. Yes, Fire Scramble. It's such a good song. I like the arcade version of the Fire Scramble.
Both versions are great.
I'm not a huge fan of this version. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. And the arrangement that the guy I mentioned earlier made was pretty good.
Okay.
Someone actually made a mashup of songs between the arcade and SNES version, and there's been other people who have done songs that weren't in the SNES version that were in the arcade version with the Gradius III SNES soundcloud.
Yeah, that's fun.
Those are definitely some pretty good ones.
Yeah, I mean, Gradius III SNES. I mean, it was pretty popular. I mean, it was basically a Super Nintendo launch title, pretty much. So a lot of people know Gradius 3.
I guess aside from games from like Super Mario World.
Yeah, it was one of the first, is all I'm saying. So like most people actually know this game, so it's like it's not a big surprise to me that it's actually pretty iconic and
it's one of the
on the
few
internet.
Gradius games that at the time was actually released in the US. Because I mean, like until you got Gradius Collection for the PSP, you had
Gradius for the Nintendo.
NES. Yeah, Gradius for the NES. You had Life Force US. The arcade game.
Yeah, and everyone knows those games.
And that was pretty much it until Gradius 3 and 4 came out.
Right.
And then Gradius Collection, and now we have emulation. And yeah, Vulture Dragon fires a lot more here. And
yeah, that's crazy.
He's still just as terrible as he is on Loop 1.
Yeah, don't.
But I got more lucky here. And I was able to deal with it pretty easily.
Yeah, advisable to kill from the center, eh?
Yeah, because I'm sure many a player has lost a run to dying there.
It's always funny when you have when you just shoot the lasers and it's just the slowdown kicks in.
Oh yeah. Basically, if you're firing and any enemy is on screen at all, it's going to lag. I think the Cyclone laser lags the game less, but I can't say for sure. I haven't used that in a very long time.
Right.
I do agree with you, Extruder. The arcade version Fire Stage is really, really fun. Speaking of greatest form slowdown, is it actually good or bad?
Well, no, you in the arcade, you definitely want slowdown for the Moai stage.
I think he's talking about like Gradius 4.
Yeah, I am as well.
I think it's bad because it's not as faithful to the arcade version, and it's a little annoying, especially, you know, have you ever had those instances where it's like it lags for a split second and it just causes you to crash?
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me a few times in Gradius 3 Arcade, and I believe it's happened to me in this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an example of like how long it takes for me to game over if I take the bonus stages. I once did a run on the Virtual Console. I did a 2 Loops Cleared where I took the bonus stages just to see how high of a score I could get, and I died like 20 times in this exact stage at the very start. I still had my lives like almost completely spread across the screen.
It's a lot of lives.
I believe there can be a maximum of up to 30 icons at the top of the screen, but it will keep going after that.
Yeah, it like fills up the whole top. It's pretty cool when it does that.
Whereas in the arcade version, once you get 10 extra lives, the display counter rolls over to 0, but you actually still have 10 lives.
Right.
Which also reminds me of something in Gradius 2 Arcade. If you get 100 lives, you automatically get a game over. And I'm guessing it's because the life counter can only be stored in 2 digits, and once you hit 100, it just becomes 0, 0.
Dang.
And
it's gotta suck for that guy who got 100 lives.
oh, I've seen a video of someone who actually had it happen to them on an arcade board.
Damn, I'd like to see that video.
Yes, 20 times. I think I got to like 3-4 that run. Right, choking weed fires a lot more.
Don't choke on choking weed, Kappa.
Ha 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 ha! Your funny forehead failfish. I'm sad because they removed OMG squids as an emote.
Whoa.
No
Well, look at that sprite flicker on the bottom part, on the bottom of the screen.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty gnarly. The world
apparently
is
in the arcade
coming
version
apart.
there was an unused palette. There's like unused palettes and stuff for this boss. There's like a whole there's some cool unused stuff in the Gradius games that you can find on the cutting room floor, tcrf.net.
Yeah.
I have to do a little bit of looking around there. There's some cool stuff. And right here I have a really, really close call. Take a hit. Barely see the suicide bullets in time because of the sprite flicker.
Yeah, that was tough.
And I'm like, need a reduce now. That's typically me sometimes. Like, I can go for a while without getting hit, but once I lose my shield, I'm like, oh my god, I need it back.
Well, yeah. Gotta have that safety net.
I mean, yes, it makes you smaller, but you only get 2 free hits. You only get... you get 1 freebie, and then if you get hit again, of course you die.
Yeah, but having a smaller hitbox is super good.
I always find it fun to just let the enemies in that rush. Sometimes I just let them live for a while so I can get a mass amount of bullets and I can try to dodge them all.
I like the sound of the reduce getting hit.
It sounds more funny in the arcade version. For some reason, they just did.
It sounds like it sounds like someone's squeaky shoes or something. Vic Viper's shoes are squeaky.
Yes.
Man, the slowdown's really helping out here. Like
Kind of.
Oh, the bullets are so
Like,
quick. What do you mean, kind of? It totally is.
It's helpful. Like right there, there's a tight. That's a really tight squeeze, and if it weren't for slowdown, I'd probably die there about half the time.
Yeah.
Because it's just a really unpredictable turn, and it can very easily mess you up. Okay, Beacon in the video that I linked in chat. There's no way you'd be able to live against him. The orbs fill the screen, literally.
Awesome.
Endless orbs, and there's no way you're gonna beat him. But you're just gonna die. Like,
oh man, I just realized like that this boss is actually another variation of that salamander blue ball boss. The 3 cores that get the blue balls out.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me of Center Core.
It's interesting too because I've been playing Contra 3 lately, and there's a reference to that boss as well in that game on the last boss.
Don't
of
remind me
Contra
of
3.
Center Core. I've had nightmares with that boss.
Apparently, Konami really likes that boss.
I don't, and no one, and neither does anyone else who's played the arcade version.
Well, Konami's glad. They're probably like, fuckers.
Okay, so you might have noticed that I went to 3 speed-ups, and that's mainly because of Big Core Mark II. He moves really fast on this difficulty. In fact, I normally go for 3 speed-ups on Loop 1 normal, but I forgot to in the first loop in this video. But that's also why I chose speed down as my power for the exclamation point, so I can just speed down right afterwards, and they have 2 speed-ups. In the insane rank video, Death Mark II literally just warps around the entire screen. He doesn't even move.
Man.
He's just that broken. And then Crystal Core comes in, and the arms don't move inwards at all, and it just corners you and you die. Never aggravate a boss that has blue balls.
It's true.
Technically, all of these bosses have blue balls because they have cores. I wish this game had the destroy the core voiceover. They would have sounded really cool. I'm actually interested to see how this game would be, because I remember I brought up a while ago the Gradius AC to FC hacks. I wonder how this game would look if they were in that style. Like, it would definitely have to be made a lot easier.
It'd probably be pretty jank.
It would be.
Although I think there was, well, yeah. Did you mention that there's like an arcade Gradius 2 to Famicom hack thingy out there? I think it's actually an actual game. But there's like 2 versions, is there not?
I remember it was I remember it being a hack. There might be if there's 2 versions, there might be like an easy version and a hard version. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I think there was 2. And like the one, yeah, it was for like people who wanted to, you know, get practice for the arcade more so they could get that game instead. Cyan. Gee whiz.
Cover core. They showed cover core for Gradius 2 in the Insane Rank video, and some of the missiles acted normally, some just like stayed in place, and the others just flew across the screen. And the option hunter never leaves you alone. And to top it all off, there was a clip of cover core coming in, and then big core comes in as well. And you're just fighting 2 bosses at once, and big core's firing an endless stream of lasers.
The fuck?
Yes. Again, that's basically the game giving you the middle finger at that point.
Well, being forced to give you the middle finger. You're talking about a hack here.
I guess you're right. Right, we are at the Linger Core again.
I like the design of this boss. It's pretty cool how he fans out like around his around the body.
And of course, it was the design they used for Blaster Cannon Core in Gradius 5. We all remember that guy.
Gradius 5 was awesome.
I agree. I need to try that game on very hard sometime. Maybe I'll like it.
It's a good game. It's just a shame that the PSN port is just kind of ballsack.
You know what I noticed? The explosion noises in Gradius 3 SNES and Gradius 5 are kind of similar. About it. Like, if you listen to them, they sound kind of similar. Maybe that will be the Smarties of this episode.
Nah, it's not off topic enough.
No.
Or maybe it is.
Okay. Well, granted, the Smarties weren't that off topic either, because it was about candy. For some reason, I chose not to go the vertical route this time.
Oh yeah, good point about the candy.
Look at the, like, there's like literally no delay in the cannon shots here. And this is normal difficulty loop too.
Yeah. I guess they kind of crank it up here, huh?
Imagine how fun it is on arcade difficulty loop 1. Pretty fun. Kappa. Kappa. The recoveries experience. Well, you're not going to die a whole lot in this game, but if you do, it really just depends on where you die. Because obviously, if you have reduced, you're going to be really, really used to your ship being harder to hit. So once you like lose that and it becomes hard to get it back, it really just kind of makes for a challenge. I think recovering is fun, but I typically try to go without dying for as long as I can, because there's some instances where it's just hard. Higher loops also makes it a lot harder to recover. Like,
looks like you just kind of accepted the hit there.
It's a narrow tunnel.
Yeah.
At Seahawk 027. Oh yes. The ending of the song is always the best. I can't go that high right now.
Doobie D indeed.
Yes. It is kind of impressive. Most base stages are pretty generic.
Oh man, the wall.
Yeah, Disrupt with the infamous safe spot in the arcade version, and in this version, if you try to recover against him, you're gonna have a bad time. Alrighty, get ready. We're about to hit the 1,000,000.
Oh snap! 1,000,000 points, always epic in Gradius games.
There we go. And of course, because of the way the life setting works, you get an extra life and 1,000,000 points.
Damn, that's awesome. Oh man, there's like a city down there in the background or something.
I don't know. It's more like the wall. Man, this space must be really old if the tiles are falling off.
I guess it probably is the wall, but it looks like a city from a overview.
Okay. This section is really, really terrifying because they take even more punishment now. Okay, watch right here, right here. That was a close call right there. I nearly had a heart attack.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't get hit from that.
They're really weird in both the arcade and SNES version. Like, sometimes the lasers will go just right through the wall. Sometimes they don't. It's just... yeah. Always, yes. If you want to have fun here, you can just let these two shadow gears live and see how long you can last without shooting either of them. And honestly, the doctors are the least of your worries. I always thought this song was inferior in the SNES port. It's still good, though.
Yeah.
Those suicide bullets are actually pretty easy to dodge.
It's definitely like one of those things where it's like UN Squadron Arcade and the SNES game both had like good music for different ways, and it's like the same way here. It's like SNES and arcade both.
Like the arcade version, you've got
like
the
they
amazing
both have the pros and
the
cons.
fake vocals, but here you've just got the excellent sound font.
Yeah, true.
I honestly found.
Although it's
I don't find.
Go ahead.
I don't think Gradius, Gradius, and J.K. Shaga Gradius on the SNES did a good job of their music as much as Gradius 3 and Gradius style did.
Oh, okay.
At least when comparing to the better versions. Or like compare the arcade versions or the PlayStation, Sega Saturn for J.K. Shaga Gradius' case. Okay, so here's like what I mentioned earlier. As you can see, the tentacles are a lot more frequent, so I can just farm from them.
Oh yeah, that is quite different.
They're not a huge threat though.
Yeah, they seem to still like kind of aim at you dumbly like they did in Gradius Arcade.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of aim forward, and sometimes they kind of aim at you, but they're just kind of like.
There's interesting farming strategies in Gradius 1. Like, I saw a video where someone got like 570,000 points in the first loop. And I actually used some of the farming strategies from there.
That's stuff you can. I mean, yeah. There's one main milking spot, and that's like that.
Nucleus,
the blue.
AK.
Boss.
Yeah, the stage 6 box. It's Nucleus. It's basically the boss where either you farm for it or it's alive for 2 seconds. Like Death Mark 2 in the arcade version of this game, it doesn't even get a chance to attack. And here we are again.
Are you gonna die again? Don't spoil it.
I won't, don't worry.
Geo.
Okay, that was an intentional hit. Because I'm
yeah, it's always a good strategy to intentionally refresh your shield if you have the opportunity.
Especially considering this game is just a 2-hit kill. This is a salamander-like stage, but it's obviously based off the stage of salamander.
Did you see the other question? What do the tentacles do on the ridiculous rank video?
They aren't there. It just shows some of the bosses in that video.
Aw.
But I'm sure if they were there, they'd probably be firing like 85,000 bullets or something.
85,000. Alright, are you gonna get it this time?
I was ready this time. I was prepared this time because I remembered.
So what are you doing differently now?
I saw the wall was not breaking, so I just moved to a different area.
Yeah.
And I made it this time.
Are you gonna fly into the mouth again?
I was running Bacterium this time also. But yeah, this is a no-death second loop. Kind of funny how I died on the first loop and then no-death the second loop.
Yeah, it happens.
Kind of cool. He makes better noises in the arcade version, and he also has the speech that makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah.
I was born out of the greediness of mankind. While men exist, so will I. Like, I kind of get the message of it, but at the same time...
There's a message, for sure.
Okay, this ending sequence, I feel like it varies depending on what difficulty level the game is set at. Like, in easy, I don't think it's really there at all. And in arcade mode, I know, like, right there, it turns into, like, a gray picture. Black and white picture. Well, there you go, that's 2 loops.
You did it!
He said it makes absolutely no sense at all. It kind of has
to me, the message is like, well, you know...
As long as we men are around, I shall forever live, and you shall suffer.
I mean, video games are a luxury to humans, and something that, I mean, just pretty much came out of, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Who plays a game for the story? I don't play games.
Holy shit, Crayfist with the fucking Illuminati Moai head story.
Yes.
He said...
I play Gradius for the porn. You might want to be looking at Parodius if that's what you're thinking about. Hashtag I'm give up your appellations technical monkey.
What's that from?
That's the ending message here if you beat the game on arcade difficulty.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Dude.
If you beat it on hard mode, it tells you how to unlock arcade difficulty, which is by going into the options screen, highlighting hard mode, and then you have to apparently mash A 16 times in 1 second. And then you unlock arcade mode, and if you beat it, it says, I'm give up your appellations technical monkey.
I gotta...
It's basic.
Well, is there any meaning behind that? Do you know? Like the text?
I don't think so.
There's gotta be something. I'm gonna let, actually, Tomato, Clyde Mandolin, he's doing a bad translation book. I gotta let him know about that, because that's fucking crazy. Like, he's making a book, like, about, like, all sorts of, bad translations in arcade and random games.
Yeah, flip 3.
I'm gonna let him know about that. That's ridiculous. So yeah, you got some loop 3 here, but,
I don't make it far.
you've already died. Dying once on the first stage of the next loop, never a good sign.
Oh, yeah. I actually was trying here, but loop 3 is legitimately hard. And as you can see, there's not much time in the video left, so we're coming up on the end here.
Well, they can't see that.
Well...
Spoilers, he dies.
Yes. Dying on the first stage, lol.
But yeah, I think we somehow managed to actually talk about Gradius for an hour and a half, so that's pretty impressive.
Well, we kind of did it one time for 2 hours. Well, that time it was mostly about Parodius, but that counts, you know. And Smarties, and, showering.
Were we talking about showering? What the fuck?
I like the very end.
I don't even remember. Oh man, 4 suicide bullets.
Last time it was 2 or 3, I don't remember.
It's hardcore, man. But yeah, arcade mode, like, really, they really ramped the difficulty up.
You have to be, like...
It's fucking serious.
Yeah, you got a whole other level to play that.
Yeah, it's the real challenge, for sure.
But still nothing like the arcade version, you know?
Yeah, but, at least it has, it has that there for people who, you know, thought it was too easy. Same thing with UN Squadron. Like UN Squadron SNES had the gamer mode, which was super difficult as well.
Okay. Yeah, the difficulty spike from Loop 2 to Loop 3 is really, really big for some reason. And yeah, I'm basically done for here.
Yeah, we can just wrap it up as your lives deplete here.
Yes. Picking up the same word, I'm amazed. Yeah, nice. You die to this guy on any difficulty that isn't like Loop 1, you're not going to recover ever. Unless you're a god. I'm sure it's doable.
Oh,
but I'm not good enough.
Sometimes, like, recoveries in Gradius games are actually, like, the most epic fucking thing ever, actually.
Oh, yes, they are, because, like...
Especially if it's something you've practiced for. Like, then it's even crazier. Like, then it's like you have to execute it.
And people say you can't recover, you can't make it once you die. Hey, guess what? You can.
Yeah, you actually can. In a lot of the places where it is possible. Some places are just, it's really bad, but...
Like, literally half of the arcade version must bring that up again.
Like, I think some of my most favorite moments have been recovering. Playing Gradius games.
I once managed to recover on the cell stage in Gradius 3 Arcade, and then lost for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Then again, it was on the PSP port, where the hitboxes are, like, smaller in a way. And I have auto-fire there.
Oh man, you're doing so good.
And then the and then the sandball's just like, hey, you know what would be fun? I'll just split without you shooting me, and I'm behind you. And you'll never know which one is going to be it.
Man, this is making me want to play some Gradius again. I still want to go back to 4 at some point, first of all.
Gradius 4 is cool. I actually like how Gradius put into higher loops, because like, Loop 2 doesn't have any suicide bullets, but it changes up the stage layouts, and the difficulty is considerably different.
Yes, Loop 2 is interesting, for sure.
And then Gradius Rebirth literally changed like every single stage.
Gradius Rebirth is sick. Maybe I should play some of that, actually.
I actually have videos of that also.
It's pretty cool, but like once you know like the game decently, like you can get through like probably 5 loops at least.
I seen someone counter stop the game, I think on like loop 256. Or 290.
Yeah, I think closer to when it was out, I remember Alamone, who was featured on the first episode of STG Weekly. He actually did. He had one of the highest scoring runs. I think along with Tivix, when Tivix was still actually playing Gradius.
Yeah.
He actually
he had
posted
like 2 million in Gradius Rebirth before the new version came out.
For anyone who doesn't know, Tivix is.
And then Seahawk and Gage came along, and they basically dominated the leaderboards.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Tivix was kind of like the Gradius legend on the Shmups forum for posting
For many years.
For posting scores that were always out of everyone's league. I actually got close to his Gradius 4 score, and no one really wants to play that game apparently.
I would play if I was able to like actually record it and care enough.
We'll get you there someday.
Yes.
We'll get you moved on from Buzzit, or what is it called? Vizzed.
Vizzed.
Buzz it.
Buzzit. It's a website about bees.
Yeah.
This is the attempt where I just stopped caring, because watch what I decide to do.
You're gonna try to go in the little cart. Oh snap! He's showing off. That's kind of cool.
That obviously wasn't meant to be.
Last life. Is he gonna do it?
You want to be spoiled?
Or is the episode going to be coming to an end?
Well, we have a minute left in the video, so
stay tuned. It could go any way.
Place your bets now. Vote on your phones.
Yeah, just text STG Weekly 1 rules, and rules is spelled ROOLZ.
What a joke. Okay, there we go. And here we go.
Damn, you shoots 2 of those at once?
Yes.
The exploding spider pus balls.
And there. So now we get to see. Hey, if you don't want to see my real name, look away now.
Your real name? There's only 3 letters. Unless your real name is actually a letter. Oh shit! It's his name's Sam.
Yep. Have to include the name entry, you know.
Yeah, but...
And there you go.
But is it short for Samuel or anything like that?
Yeah, that's short for Samuel.
Oh, okay. Nice vid.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for good play there, and it's great to have the video.
That was fun. It was nice being back on here again.
Yep, talking about some Gradius action. Always good, always good.
Yeah. I've still got more stuff. I'm probably gonna request to be on here sometime in the near future again.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there's like a lot to talk about with the series, and like...
Oh yeah. I'm a bit of a nerd.
And especially when you got someone who's knows a lot about the series, like there's a lot to talk about.
I think I have like almost an eidetic memory. Something.
I noticed your memory was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about parts of that episode, the shower part of the episode. I don't remember that at all.
Well, then again, I've gone back to that episode on many occasions just because I like watching it.
Were you like, oh, this is a good part when we talk about showers?
Yeah. I think my commentary this time was a lot better because I said fun fact way too much that time. But now I think I just went through this entire episode without saying that once.
We've decreased the fun fact count by 100%. Well,
by 99%.
99%.
I sent it there.
But yeah, that's a fun fact right there.
Yes.
Fun fact about fun fact. Anyway, yeah, that was good stuff.
Of this episode.
Yeah, it would have been kind of cool to get maybe a couple other Gradius heads to come on and talk about this, but I think we all probably would have been talking over each other at that point.
Yeah, because I was interrupted and interrupting a lot last time I was here.
It happens though. When you got something to say, it's you want to get it out, you know.
And I've always been taught to be polite and let other people talk before I do.
It's good to be polite. On STG Weekly, episode 112 on Gradius 3 Super Nintendo. I'll probably retool the name of this once I get onto YouTube to include information about that. It's gonna be like more like info about the arcade game as well, because we did talk a lot about the arcade in comparison, which is fun.
Well, the arcade version's been on STG Weekly before by you. I think someday you're gonna have to like.
That was like a.
I think it would be nice. It'd be nice to see a full run of Gradius III Arcade on STG Weekly at some point.
That was just like kind of like a preview-ish episode of those games when I was just kind of fucking around. But yeah, full episode for each game would be nice to have eventually.
You should do Gradius Guidance someday. There's some decent runs out there.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. What's in it for the Moai? What's in it for the Moai? I mean, they should be happy that they're in the game in the first place. I mean, they've infiltrated the gaming world by storm.
I wonder if, like, Easter Island knows about it. I think they do, probably.
Probably, like, someone who's, like, keeps, like, the wiki, like, finds all the places that the head appears. Alright. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna close it out then, so yeah. Good ep. Till next time, glad we could do an STG Weekly again. And hopefully we can do some more here coming up. Yeah, so till next time, everyone.
Oh, before we go, when's updating the STG Weekly list in bio?
Oh shit,
You're
okay.
Still on 82.
It's okay, no one looks down there.
I do. Okay.
Alright, maybe I'll update it.
And on that note,
I might update it. Alright.
Before we kill too much time here.
Alright, have a good week / Sunday, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.